Okay, so we got a new Lincoln 2 Plus here. This is going to Tennessee for Paula, and I'm just working with it right now. So just wanted to show the box, and the back side of the box here will have the serial number right there with that sticker. Begins in 4, ends in 9. So we're in the service portion of the radio, and we're just aligning the frequency of the radio. So this is how I choose to do it through the service portion. It's so much easier. So the frequency that it defaults to is 27430, and this is AM, so that's right on the money. What you want to do is switch to USB, and then what we'll do is we will inject a 1K tone, and what that does is changes our carrier frequency. In this situation, it'll go up 1 full kilohertz, so we'll be looking for 27431 to be balanced and be on frequency. So it doesn't matter what this says here. This is just a formality of the menu, I guess. When you transmit, it switches to 430, but since we're injecting the tone, it'll go to 431. Let me plug this stuff in. I only got one hand here. Alright, so we're going to send the tone. Do that now. I'm going to turn up the power a little bit so my counter will register. Actually, sometimes I need to push that collar on there. I'm not sure if this is the right adapter for the... Oh, I got the mic gain down. That's my fault. So we need to get enough power to register a stable frequency here. So there we can see the frequency. It's slightly off frequency, so I will adjust that now. And the nice thing about sideband on this is you can do it while you're transmitting, so you don't have to change anything. So there you go. That's right on the money. And you can see I made a slight change to that BFO USB. So we'll do the same thing on lower sideband now. The difference will be we'll be looking for 2742900. So it'll do the same thing though. Alright, so I'm going to transmit, send the tone, and she's a little bit off frequency here too, so based on what I know, if I turn this down it goes up. So, and there you have it. So that's right on the money. So I still recommend with this radio, when you're in sideband, you have this menu setting here, right here, R and T together. I think it's just a better way to operate this radio. You don't have to, but that's how I'm going to send it out. So I'm going to hold that and store everything. Whoop, not that. I do recommend, if you've never used one of these before, to read through the manual. A lot of the information on how to do memory channels and all that stuff is right in the manual. SWR protection, all that stuff is in the manual, because what it does is it kind of describes like what some of this stuff means. Some of it's pretty self-explanatory, like Roger beat frequency. I am going to change that for you really quick and give you the 2510 sound in Roger beat, or in that case the original Lincoln sound in Roger beat. If I can get that, man, if I can get that to blink the right number. There we go. Oh God, there we go. 2510, and then we want our this to be 100. Okay, 2510 100. Some of this other stuff here, this is where I say reference the manual for some of this stuff. That's obviously timeout timer, but so I would recommend, I think it says 20 SWR protections 20 to 1 right now. I'm not going to change it. I'd rather that you learn the radio and you change it yourself. But there are some things in here, is the colors and stuff. I like the orange personally, but I can go with the green. I'll probably send it out in the green. You can obviously adjust the brightness. I'll turn that down a little bit. You can change this up and down, or frequency. I kind of like to leave this here as up and down channel, and then you can use this as your kind of VFO in a sense. As long as you have that little line, wherever you put that little line, this will be like a VFO. Now if you're here, then this just changes in 10K steps automatically. So there's a little bit of a learning curve to the radio, but it's not hard. I mean, this is simple to go like this and go wherever you want to go. So these are pretty user-friendly radios. So I don't know what's going on my other radio over there, but somebody's on AM and I'm on sideband. So let's put the microphone on this and we'll see what kind of power she's doing and stuff. Alright, so I have the little Roger beep on. I don't know if that's picking up or not. I'm going to shut it off though, but it also shows SWR on key up. I'm on a dummy load, of course, so that's why it's 1.0. So I did set the RF power. It's about 8 watts all the way up. In the low position, it's about 0.5 watts, so about a half a watt down and 8 watts up in AM. On FM, it's about 30 watts all the way up, and then all the way down is like a little under a watt. So I'll go back to AM and show that. So a little over 8, just a hair over a half a watt. So it's picking up the radio in the background. It's also picking up my voice through the mic. So let's just take a quick look at here's the AM peak power of the radio. So again, they're anywhere from a 40 to 50 watt radio. And this is with the President electret condenser microphone here, the factory mic, one of my own here. So they don't sound too bad with this radio. Obviously, I like the KPO mic with this radio. I think it sounds a little bit better, but to each his own on what mic they want to run. Here's with it all the way down. So with it all the way down at times, and don't get too excited about that, at times it'll jump out, but it's not real consistent. So what I find on this is about 2 watts, somewhere in there. About 2.5 watts. At about 2.5 watts AM, she really starts to wake up, and you know, it does a pretty good job around 2 watts. So it's gonna definitely sound good on the air, that's for sure. So SSB, if you turn the power back up, it's about 30 to 40 watt radio on SSB. It's very clean now on SSB versus how it came out of the factory. So I have aligned the SSB and everything. And then, you know, there's kind of like a dead spot on these. They've all been like that. You can turn this to about 12 o'clock and it doesn't really cut you back a whole lot. It does a little bit. And then from about this point going back, it's a big change. So somewhere in here, let's just say there. So if you turn that down even a little bit more, you really have to get it closer to almost off before you see a significant drop in power on sideband, but it will drop back as I turned it a little bit more. So you don't always have to run the radio at full power, and you know, you can see kind of where it's at. So they're very clean transmitting radios. They got a decent receiver. I wouldn't say it's the best in the world, but again, a lot of these 10 meter and CB radios of the new generation are not really the best of the best receivers. I think most guys that have been around the hobby since the 70s and 80s and you know that and whatnot would also agree that a lot of the older radios just have a little bit better receiver. Or if you already own like a Yaesu, a Kenwood, an ICOM, even a Linko, something like that, I think that, you know, when you get used to listening to a better quality receiver on like older CB radios or HF radios, then some people can have a little bit of an unfair bias to these newer style radios of the 90s and 2000s and 2010s and, you know, the export line of radios and stuff. So they're not bad. I mean, you can definitely use them and stuff, but there are radios that have better receivers. To me, in my what I like to do in the hobbies, I like to listen more than I talk. So I do really appreciate a good quality quiet receiver, and I would rather have that in some circumstances than really have all this bling and a lot of stuff on transmit. So that's just, you know, if I'm in the radio room here or in the car, I would say let's say I spend an hour for my own personal time a day, an hour in the car, an hour in the radio room, maybe I talk for 5 minutes or less. So I don't do a lot of transmitting. I do a lot of listening. So just because I enjoy listening to the radio and seeing what everybody else is talking about and what they're doing. So let's just hook this up to this coax here. This will be the antenna. We'll just have a quick listen to the receiver, and I'll get this one boxed up and ready to ship out today. Alright, here's our Lincoln 2 Plus on the antenna. Man, that's a big carrier right there. It's like somebody in my driveway or something. Jeez, oh Pete.
I know it's ideal. You got it right. You sure got it right.
Seems like there's more AM activity today than SSB. A lot of jammers and stuff lately out there, which is a shame, but...
Well, it's Monday. You know, if you're going to do it Monday today, if you're retired like me, I don't even know what day it is, but I feel like it's Monday. Almost half our season's rain, so that's pretty cool. How you doing today? Over?
A little bit of activity on 10 meters, so see if there's anybody on FT8. What is that? Oh something. Is it 7.4? Yeah. Oh, it's going strong. It always is, it seems like. There's more people on the digital, and I get tired, and I'll admit that, you know, I do spend quite a bit of time there myself. When I'm tired, I don't really want to talk. I'd rather just click the mouse and make contact. So it's pretty crazy, but let's get out of that band. And you can still use the band button if you want to. Band A is the 11 meter for listening and all that. This mic is messed up. It's starting to... I've had this mic for years, and it's starting to... The up and down buttons are kind of funky on it, but... Well, I like the sound of that radio. Alright, Paula, we'll get this one wrapped up for you and get it ready to ship out today. Thanks a lot, and 73, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.